everyone. Welcome to Junior's Book Club. I am your host, and today we will be talking about Dear America, Our Strange New Land by Patricia, Hermes, The Diary of Elizabeth Baker, 1609, Virginia. This story takes place from an 11-year-old girl named Elizabeth, who they call her Beth, and she explains here in her in her book, as you can see here, she will talk about the people she liked, the people she didn't like, and her complaints, her troublesome, and she will talk about her brother Caleb, who is in England, and we will get into that shortly. When they set sail, they've been on the ship for 71 days, traveling from England to here, Virginia. And according to what she said, there was a hurricane that had hit right there, and two of the ships got lost in sea. And by the time they hit land and they saw everything, supposedly that she had saw Indians and other people, the other colony, and and she would start complaining about a captain named Captain Gabriel Archer, for whom she says that he was conceited, mean, a loudmouth, and always complains about somebody. And when they get to their new landmark, her father would build their new home there, which took a while for them. And Elizabeth's mother will often say that she would scold her, which means she would hit her because she would do things that the girl should not do or that was not proper, even though that was back in the day. And her best friend Jessie Baltimore, I think, and her and her friend will go hang out and go play or go into the woods and all that. And Elizabeth, she would bring her journal, which was her twin brother's journal, and she would write in there about the things that is happening, the events, the people, and whatever was going on. But she said that she felt kind of guilty stealing it from her twin brother from England. But the reason why she took his sketchbook along with her because she wanted to keep up everything that he could know. And according to what I read, she was very close to her twin brother Caleb, who was in England. The reason why Caleb stayed behind in England with family members because he was sick with he had an illness problem. He had weak lungs, and if he would have come to the journey, he would get sick. He would probably not make it. So he had to wait until spring to join with the family in Virginia. And Elizabeth will often express herself that she misses him and she feels lonely without him. And sometimes she would write letters to him in the journal. And later on, their leader in the colony was John Smith. Yep, we all know who that is, John Smith. And John Smith, she would write in her journals that he was a kind, amiable man with, ginger red hair and red beard and all that. And John Smith will take care of the colony, the people there. And according to what I read, sometimes ships from England will come to Virginia to supply food for the people and their personal needs. And sometimes she would write in her journals that Captain Gabriel Archer would complain about John Smith in the way he was more envious towards him because he was the leader of the people. And later on in the journal, she was often picked on by the Bolton brothers, I believe. I think that's their last names. One of them is John, and I can't remember the other one's names, but one day in the journal that one of them has snatched her journal, and I think one of them was trying to destroy it, and she finally got her journal, and she even warned them that if one of them ever tried to pick on her, that would be sorry. And she's very secretive about her journal because her mother does not agree of female education, and most times that she would hide it under her mattress or the chest trunks, I think. And as much as possible, she would write her feelings, her expressions, and all that. One day in the book, her and her friend Jessie went to the river to play, and one day they met with an Indian, and both of them got frightened. But one of those Indians, you guess who that would be? Pocahontas, of course, everybody. Pocahontas told them not to be afraid, that they were not endangered, so both of them were calm. So Pocahontas was talking with the both girls, Jessie and Beth. They called Elizabeth Beth, her nickname. And Pocahontas would show them how to find food and where how to tell with their herbs and spices and everything. And then later on, Pocahontas and Beth became friends with Jessie and Beth, which was pretty awesome. And then one day, throughout the story, the Indians would help the colonists how to survive and how to find food and everything. And one day, Pocahontas took Jessie and Beth to their village, and according to what Elizabeth have wrote in her journal, that she was amazed how everything was, the huts, the people, and and how friendly the Indians were. And long story short, the people were starving in the village. There was not enough supplies, and the ships were coming late, and the people were starving. And then plus there was a I forgot the name of it, but there was a plague going around in that colony, a flu, I believe. People coming from that the people coming from England, some people were coming from England, new people, but some people were dying in that in the village because of the virus. And one of Elizabeth and Jesse's friends were dying, and her best friend, Jesse's mother, had passed away from a flu, and some of her friends that she knew that were dying as well, and some of them eventually died. And according to what I have read, um, according to what I've read, that some people were leaving because they were getting sick from there. And then later on, the colony was being enemy were being the colony were making enemies with the Indians because they were taking advantage of them. And one day in the story, Elizabeth and Jesse's two parents, their fathers, were joining Captain Smith and the other men to go, confront the Indians, try to make peace with them. And finally, later on throughout the story, they came out wounded because there was war between them and the Indians. And Captain Smith, John Smith, y'all know, was wounded. Sounds familiar, guys? He was wounded and he had to go back to England to be treated. And the terrible thing was, Elizabeth's best friend, Jessie, had to go back to England with her father, which Elizabeth dreaded. And Jessie didn't want to go. Of course, she didn't want to leave her friend, but she had no choice. So Elizabeth dreaded the idea of her best friend, Jessie, leaving. But she did have her good friend, Pocahontas, to be there with her. But Elizabeth wanted to talk to John Smith alone as she can, but finally she had the courage one day to talk to him alone. And she gave him her journal, which is Caleb's journal. And she told Captain Smith to for him to when he gets back to England, just for him to give it to her brother Caleb. So Elizabeth writes her notes and a letter to him that she was sorry for stealing his sketchbook, but she wanted him to know how everything was, and she kept every detail. So Captain Smith promised her that he will find Caleb and give it to him. And from there on, that will be the end of the story until part 2. Yes, there is a second sequel of Dear America, Our Strange New Land. And the second sequel of the story is called The Starvation, which I will make a blog about it. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you would like to get more videos from me, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Alright? Bye.